What is up, guys, gals, and non-binary pals? Welcome to my channel. My name is Naomi. This is House of Miscellanea. Thank you for joining me at my little baby here. Tonight, I'm going to be working on some more of Grand Canal and Basilica Venice. This is such a luscious, luxurious kit, and I absolutely have loved it so far. Tonight it looks like I get to, well, it's tonight what time I'm at, but by the time this gets posted it'll probably be a daytime. However, I'm very excited to be getting into some of this color blocking here. I'm going to be honest with you, it's like woof, there's a lot going on. Let me try and reduce some of this glare for you guys, but I still got to be able to see, so, and not blind myself in the face. Welcome. Things have been going pretty fantastically as far as my baby channel here is concerned. So I thank you if you are supporting me. It means the world. You're really, it's been lovely. That said, tonight I'm going to be showing you a little trick while we are at it, and that is when you have a pen that has holes that are too big on the ends for your tips. And even this one from MK Custom Lathe Works, they tend to make theirs a little bit too big on both sides. That's on purpose. They want to make sure that you are not going to break the pen because it's too tight, and pen tips can be various sizes, so they just wanted to make sure. But even my little single placer here, it would like fall right out. It's very easy. But this one I did have listed as a D-stash, and nobody's jumped on it, but I just love how well the colors fit with this piece. So I'm going to work on showing you a little washi tape trick. I chose the thin washi. That I could have gone with the thicker washi, but I like the idea of it just being thinner, because then what you do is just roll some washi tape around your tip until it is thick enough. Now, you're probably going to need to do a little trial and error here, because you may end up, a little too thick or still not quite there. That, I think, is going to be perfect. Now, I have a little multi-tool here that I do use gently to get my tips in or out. I just kind of give it a gentle, hold on to this while I push against, just to make sure that I'm not going too hard. This is a brand new single tip, and then I will be adding my multi-placer, my thin metal multi-placer from Diamond Art Club. Excuse me. So again, now this has a little metal ring on it. As you can see right here, I leave the metal ring on. It is just a little extra assurance that when you sink this tip into your pens, that you're not slamming it against that metal ridge there and then really doing some damage. So I'm going to try and stay underneath that little ridge, but may end up covering a little bit, and that's okay. It should not make too much difference if I do. But I'm going to go right about there, because the other side did seem a little more loose than that side. Again, it doesn't need to be tight on there, whatever, but you just want to make sure that your pen tip is going to fit. So it looks like it's staying in there. Now I'm just going to grab a hold and give it a little push, and it should be, yeah, pretty snug. Yes, there is some washi tape sticking out of the top if it's really bothering you, which sometimes I'm bothered by it, sometimes I'm like, whatever, it's there. You can kind of futz with it a little bit. I said futz, F-U-T-Z, with it a little bit and, you know, pick it off of there if it's really bugging you. Otherwise, I just kind of leave it hanging out. It's not a big deal, but I just thought this pen fit so well with the colors of this piece. Anyways, now that we've got that managed, I've been reusing this piece of washi tape on here, my little rainbow. And I mean, I'm not like a, you know, so desperate for money that I can't use a new piece of washi tape, but it's just already the right size. And then I just move it up on my, this is a perforated sheet of plastic. And so I like to add a little washi tape line next to it so that I know where the tape, or where the perforation line ends, because it is hard to see when it's stuck down. Like, it's hard to see where those perforation lines actually are. So now I have a perforation line here so that I could do, oh, here, let me scooch it down a little. Meep, there we go. So I could just do like this much, but because it's a lot of color blocking, I'm sure I'm going to get through a lot. Now, one thing I did notice about the pre-perforated plastic is that sometimes when you are pulling back, it will see, and there it just started to try and do it, where the perforated line doesn't catch for whatever reason, and then it starts to tear it like the wrong way. So you gotta just really carefully watch and see what's happening. So anyways, got that back. Well, so it is Whip and Chat Wednesday when I will be posting this video. It will be Wednesday. It's technically Wednesday now. It's just really late. I had some things going on. My in-laws, well, you know, okay, I keep saying my husband, my in-laws, etc. The thing about that, I'm not actually married to my hetero life mate. Dustin is his name. We've just been together for a really long time, 20 years now. But we've not gotten married. That's, you know, just, it's not for us. You know, some people that's important to them in their relationship. It's not important in ours. To each their own. But I do end up saying my husband a lot because it's hard to explain to people like that we've been together, you know, my fiance for 20 years. Like, why haven't you got married yet? It's like, I just say my husband. But Dustin, his parents, they are snowbirds. We live in the Midwest, and so in the winter times they go to Florida, and we are still living in Wisconsin. And so I had some errands to run. I'm going to interrupt myself really quick. I am still using my Winter Dreams Dot Dot Buddy from Butterfly Effectwares. It is mint scented. It is, oh, I love it so much. It is my favorite putty because it starts out as a drier putty. That's why I use this one. I do have a small shop haul in the making, so I'm excited. I have some things coming, and I do have something coming from Butterfly Effectwares, so I'm super stoked. See a little spot where like there's not great gluing, but I think it'll be okay. So anyway, I have I've been busy today, and I meant to get recording done much sooner than I have, but I went over to their house and kind of did some cleaning up while they are in Florida, just because there is somebody there that's like watching the house or whatever. But he's a man who is used to having someone else kind of clean up after him. So Yeah, I went over to make sure that the house is in good, good condition, that it's clean, etc. So that when they come home, they're not upset by anything that they might see. So I was over there cleaning, and I did not have time to make sure that I got some recording done first. So it is pretty late. I have been very much a night owl lately anyways. My sleep schedule's all out of whack while I am not working. So anyways, so it's late, but here I am. And this should be out for you guys in the morning time. But I did want to say a massive thank you for support from the community. Just comments on any of the videos. It always helps with the algorithm, because sometimes a small channel can really get buried in, kind of like tiny creator heck. And so anytime that you leave a comment or a like, it helps so much. And people have been just, leaving kind comments and things like that. And I feel like the content that I've been putting out has been interesting to people, so that's good. I am suffering a little bit of like imposter syndrome. I think it's like I've been comparing myself out a lot. Like, no one is going to want to watch my channel because I'm not as entertaining as this person, or I'm not as sweet sounding as this person, or I, you know, I don't do, I don't have any clout with, a company like Diamond Art Club, so nobody's going to want to watch my channel because I don't do sneak peeks or just all kinds of stuff. And I'm not going to name any names. I'm going to keep names to myself. But there was a YouTuber who had mentioned that they were maybe getting burnt out on diamond painting, and that they wanted to make way for new creators. And they had posted on one of their own videos that they were, getting burnt out, and that if there were any new content creators that were, looking for help or advice, to reach out and what have you. And I did that. Just asking simple questions. Like, when I very first started out, I was using an actual camera, like old school, taking pictures and, and video with this camera. And, the quality was just crap. I mean, I think I've talked about it before, but anyway, I was having issues with camera quality. And so all I asked them was, hey, out of curiosity, what do you use to film? And I reached out to them, not on YouTube. It wasn't like in comments or anything. It was like I reached out, and their response was just a camera. Like, okay, like a camera, like a phone. Oh, with my phone. Okay, thank you. Like, all right. And I had decided, even though I knew better, I knew better. I don't know why I'm a glutton for punishment, apparently, because I thought I had another question for them, about, doing sneak peeks for Diamond Art Club. And, they're a YouTuber who does sneak peeks, and I reached out and I said, hey, you know, how does one go about that? Like, is that something that you have to have a certain amount of followers, or, you know, are you like, how does that work? Thinking they'll be in the know because they do sneak peeks. Um, Basically, the response that I received was in not so many words, and I'm not going to like read the comment directly, but it was, I'm basically, I'm tired of new YouTubers looking for a handout, and you can try reaching out to them, but they contacted me. I was a little bit irked by that. Like, the point of my asking, or the point of my wanting to do sneak peeks with Diamond Art Club, is not anything to do with wanting a handout. I mean, yeah, of course, free kits would be really nice. It would be really lovely. Um, but honestly, I really, truly enjoy the product. I feel like I'm a good salesperson. I've been in sales a long, long time. And I also wanted to, if there's new people who've never purchased Diamond Art Club before, that I would like to introduce them via sneak peeks. And I thought also, obviously, there's always something to gain for the person who's doing the sneak peeks, but that it would bring some more traffic to my channel. Um, and I don't need to monetize. I don't, like, that's not even my concern, really, when it comes to being on YouTube. And I feel like if the plan or the idea that a person has immediately is to monetize, then maybe you're not doing YouTube for the right reason. I don't know. No judgment. Y'all do what you do. But more or less, I was more interested in just educating people, showing them how to do things, you know, whatever. And cool, if I make some money along the way, yeah, that'd be great, but that's not, honestly, it's not the point. If the crowd of you stays 50, I hit 50 subscribers today. I was over the moon about 50 subscribers. Like, I feel so accomplished, and thank you, every single one of you that subscribes. Thank you so much. It means a lot to me. You have no idea that somebody wants to sit and listen to me talk to myself, essentially, by talking to you. It means a lot. And so anyways, you know, if I go nowhere with it, it means nothing. But it just felt really hurtful to me. Like, you invited me to ask you questions, so I did. And then when I did, essentially, you made me feel like a thirsty beggar who's just looking for free kits, and um, you can reach out to them. I don't know what will happen. Okay, well, that definitely did not help with the imposter syndrome and the feeling like, am I doing this for the wrong reasons? Like, am I doing the wrong thing? It kind of, it had me swinging from the back foot today. I'm gonna tell you that. So I just, yeah, just left a sour taste, and it was just really unfortunate. It was an unfortunate response to a question that I just literally was just looking for some information. And it's okay. It's okay. I'm not mad. Like, I'm not mad. I'm just a little hurt. I only asked because the invitation was out there. Like, it was made to sound like I want to make way for new YouTubers and, you know, ask me questions. So, sorry I asked. Sorry I bothered. But it's whatever. I'm over it. I'm already over it. But it didn't help with my frame of mind as far as the, you know, the imposter syndrome goes and whatever. I absolutely, I'm gonna like interrupt myself because shiny things. I absolutely adore this fairy dust diamond. It is a lilac color, but and I don't know if the camera will pick it up. They're fairy dust diamonds. Um, and there is just the slightest teeny bit of a pink shine in them, almost like an iridescent glitter. So stankin' pretty. And it distracted me because shiny things. Um, anyways, all of that said, uh, it's been hard mentally, just not working. And I've loved having the YouTube to focus on, because, it honestly, it's been fun to kind of go like, ooh, what kind of a video do I want to do? I still need to work on the hacks video, and I'm recording for it, but if I edit it the way that, ooh, one too many. If I edit it the way that I want to edit, then it's going to take a little more than just recording the content. It's going to take some edit time and whatever, but I think depending on how I end up presenting the information, it will maybe end up being like that kidding up in 10 easy steps. It might be a little funny. Or, just I like to add a little humor into things because people do not laugh enough. There's enough to be sad about in this world, and so I like to give people reasons to laugh. But yeah, it's taken me a little time, but I've loved kind of planning my next move for the YouTube channel, and just it's been a lot of fun. And sometimes the only problem with that is sometimes I don't get a lot of diamond painting done, and I love diamond painting. I absolutely love diamond painting. And so when I don't get time to diamond paint because I'm doing other things around diamond painting, it's just sort of frustrating. But it has been a lot of fun. So I've been talking a little bit in my lives about like employment opportunities and things like that, and I have received a job offer, and it's always like pending, background check and blah 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 blah, making sure that another candidate is not going to be more suitable for the position. So even though I've been given a job offer, if something could fall through. I've been running into a lot of issues with that, where, I'll receive an offer, but something happens in the meantime, and then I don't end up getting the job. And so I just really, really want this to work out. It is specifically for a teacher's aide position, working with kids with autism, like level 1 autism, nonverbal, like not just I have Asperger's and it kind of looks like ADHD or something. It's actual autism, and learning, like severe learning disabilities. I would absolutely love that position, that job. I love working with kids. I've worked with kids kind of on and off. I mean, my own kids, but I've always kind of really connected well with kids. And so, I really, really, really hope that this one works, because it's up my alley, and it sounds really nice. I'm looking forward to it, but I've been missing out being able to go and see my therapist to kind of talk to him about some of these, feelings of anxiety and imposter syndrome and like all of the things, because he was out sick. And so, I'm like, they call me to like let me know like, hey, sorry to inform you, but no appointment today. They usually call me like in the morning or whatever. But I ended up talking the like intake slash billing guy's ear off about diamond painting and just kind of what I've been doing with YouTube. And because I know he's been, they're concerned. I've been extra stressed. I'm not sleeping too well, like, whatever. But I did tell him about diamond painting and the YouTube, and he says it's good to keep myself busy, and I agree. I definitely agree with that. But yeah, I did end up making that, like, how to kit up in 10 easy steps video, and there was, along with that, there had been content, like, I did a kitten chat, essentially. However, something happened when I was grabbing footage from it to record for the how to kit up in 10 easy steps, and something corrupted the audio so that, like, one person had made a comment about audio cutting in and out on one of my earlier videos, and I did end up figuring out, like, why that was happening and where that was coming from. And so I've fixed that problem. It was in some upload choices I was making. And so I went back to try and edit the video for the kitten chat, and then not kittens, I'm saying kit and chat, just in case somebody thinks I'm talking about kittens. Not actual kittens. But I went back to try and, mess with that a little bit, whatever. And come to find out that the whole stankin' thing is, like, it's got audio issues. It does not sound good. I was really kind of bummed about that. But what I decided was I will take the things that I talked about in that kit and chat and talk about them on the WIP and chat. So, one of the things that I did talk about was about the imposter syndrome, about pessimism. Like, I am not a pessimist. I am one of those, like, I was reading up on, like, toxic positivity. And I feel like there are times where my positivity can be a little bit toxic, because, I don't ever want to make somebody feel like their feelings are not valid and that they shouldn't feel their feelings and that they shouldn't be angry sometimes. But I do feel like sometimes my look on the bright side of life kind of mentality can be seen as that. And so, like, this whole pessimism thing that I'm dealing with, like, oh, nobody's gonna care about my YouTube. Nobody's gonna watch my YouTube. Nobody's gonna give me this job. Like, I don't deserve to have this job. Just all of that is so unlike me. So it's been just weird. It's been very, very weird for me. I'm having a weird start to this year. But I'm figuring out that the ways that I can continue to battle my pessimism and kind of not bring back a toxic positivity me, but to bring back kind of a more positive me, is to focus on what is working and what is successful, and remember what I bring to the table, and just, oh, shnikes, did you see that? You guys, what happened? Oh no. Oh well. Well, you got to see that. Look at that. You got to see that happen in live time. Oh no. I'm leaving it. You know what? I'm leaving it in. I'm not even gonna try and pretend that didn't happen. Oh, struggle bus. Cue struggle bus. Oh no. You guys, what did I do? Flicking them. Oh my god, that's so funny. Okay. So I could choose to be really pessimistic about what just happened and dumping my whole thing of drills onto the canvas. I could choose to have a moment about that. I choose not to. You know what? I'm going to take my murder tweezers. I'm going to sit here and pick at these freaking drills. And yeah, oh, that one just jumped right in for me. That was nice. So anyways, yeah, perfect timing. Perfect freaking timing, life. Oh my Lord. That is literally just a beautiful clincher to my day. Well, anyways, so another thing that I did want to just kind of to tell you guys a little bit more about me, is, you know, I tell people, like I said, that Dustin is my husband, but we're not married legally. We've been together for 20 years. We met when I actually, wow, we went to the same high school, and I live in kind of a small enough city that we have two high schools. So you went to one or the other. There were no other options unless you lived out of town or you were out in the sticks somewhere. But he and I met, didn't meet when we were at school because I'm actually 3 years older than he is. I know, cradle robbing. But we didn't meet when we were at school. We would have run in different crowds anyways. Just one, I didn't know anybody because I started high school in the town that I'm in now, in my sophomore year, and I didn't know anybody when I moved here. My mom remarried, and so I was not super happy about moving from the city that we were living in, where I had lots of friends and had lived for 9 years. We did a lot of moving because my dad was military, but anyways, not important part of the story. So I didn't meet him when we were both in high school, but he says he remembers seeing me in high school, which is not surprising because I stuck out like a sore thumb. I was like a goth kid who wore, you know, all black. I had eyeliner all over my face, and I had flamingo pink hair, and so I stuck out like a sore thumb. Nobody else in this, like when I first moved to the town that I live in, the population of black families was one black family, African American family. So it was not metropolitan. It was not, you know, populated. Well, so anyways, we officially met when I went to go and interview for a job at our local humane society, because a friend of mine, Gary, whom I had no idea at the time was mutual friends with Dustin, he encouraged me to apply there because they were looking for help with people cleaning up kennels and, you know, making sure that the animals were fed and all that fun stuff. So I go and I apply for the position. I ended up getting an interview, and when I went in for my interview, Dustin was sitting behind the counter, and I said, "Hey, I'm here to see Jim." Jim was the manager at the time, and he says, "Yeah, you know, let me show you the way, whatever." But that was pretty much the whole of our first conversation, really. I had the interview, I got the job. I came back out, and when I initially had gone in, it was just Dustin at the front desk by himself. When I came back, Gary, the person I did not realize was a mutual friend of ours, was also sitting at the front desk. And so I said goodbye to Gary, and then I said to Dustin, "Well, hey, it was nice meeting you. I'll see you when I come to work on Tuesday." Just because I'm a personable, friendly person, you know, whatever. Well, so I guess the conversation that happened after I left was basically like, oh, you know that redheaded girl? Dustin said to our mutual friend Gary, you know that redheaded girl? And Gary's like, yeah, that's Naomi. And he's like, she's cute. He's like, I'm going to get her to fall in love with me. And our mutual friend Gary is like, well, that would be a feat considering she's married. Well, I was legally married at the time. My marriage was not going well. And so, you know, the reason that I was getting a job in the first place was because I was going to be saving up for my own place. We were just talking separation, like it wasn't a good situation, but Gary didn't know that. All he knew is that I was married. Well, when he tells him, oh, well, dude, she's married, Dustin says, I don't care. I'm gonna make her fall in love with me. Well, here we are 20 years later. And I told him I felt like I was some sort of a bet. And he says, no, you were not a bet. You were a Babe Ruth statement, meaning like he was going to swing for the fences. And he said he hit a home run. And I was like, oh, you're gross. Why do you say gross things like that? It was very cute. It did take a while before, like, we were friends for a long time before we actually, like, started to see each other. Like, we were seeing each other every day at work, but not like that. We were seeing each other as friends, but we weren't, like, dating, because I was in a very messy divorce. So part of the reason that we never married, and don't marry, is because I'm still very bitter about a really crappy divorce. You know, that's a really terrible reason not to get married, is because you're bitter about a divorce, but 20 years later, but you know, it's a good enough reason for me. And, I'm not going anywhere. He's not going anywhere. So it's whatever. And the only reason I'm not wearing, you know, the ring that he got for me is because my fingers do fat. Cause, you know, I was 26, I think, when he proposed to me, and now I'm not 26 anymore, by a lot. Oh wait, no, I wasn't 26. We haven't been engaged for 20 years, but we've been together for 20 years. So, all that said, but sorry, I needed a drink. My husband comes from a long line of like romantic men, and he's not a talkative person. He's not social. He doesn't, in fact, like large groups. He doesn't like to socialize with people if he doesn't have to. And I get it. Like, not everybody's, like, that's draining for some people. They're not into it. But he comes from a long line of just, you know, romantic men who know what they want and go for it. His dad met his mom in, when they were both attending a concert, like a band, you know, they were at a band. I don't remember what band, but like a, you know, Journey or something, probably very hair bandish or something like that. But they met at a concert that they were both attending. His parents did. And, so his mom was actually on a date with a completely other person than his dad. They were each on dates with somebody else, and they, were sitting next to each other. They ended up, I don't know how exactly, but they ended up exchanging phone numbers and then got together later on. His grandfather, Dustin's grandfather, was honestly one of my favorite humans on the planet. He passed away, I feel like it was in 2021 maybe, or 2020. I can't remember right off the top of my head. It's been a long time now, but he was one of my favorite like older men on the planet. He was just funny, and he always like would sit and talk to me about just all sorts of stuff. And he told me the story about how he met Dustin's grandmother, and it was the sweetest freaking thing. They both were living in Chicago at the time, and he was like 18 and she was 16, I think, or he was 19 and she was 16. But like back then, 16 wasn't like that young, you know what I mean? Like as far as life was concerned, because the Great Depression and all of that sort of stuff. But I guess, okay, so Dustin's grandpa tells me that he saw his grandma sitting in a cafe, like a mom and pop sort of diner situation in downtown Chicago. And she's sitting with some other guy because she's on a date with some guy. And he goes into the diner, sits right down at her table, and says, "I know you don't know me. My name's Bill, and you are going to marry me." And she was like, what? I don't know you. Like, why would I marry you? And he says, "Because I'm going to treat you better than any man has or ever will treat you in your life. And I'm going to marry you. And if you'll marry me right now, we can go straight down and, go to the courthouse, get married, and that'll be that." And oddly enough, my understanding is that they were married within that week, like, of meeting. They were married, and they stayed married for 85 years. 85 years on just a romantic man walking into a cafe saying, "I know you don't know me, but I'm going to be your husband." Like, that's insane. And so, like, Dustin has always kind of, compared himself to a penguin. One, penguins mate for life, and two, they always bring their, the male of the species will bring pretty rocks to the female. And, I'm always collecting stones, or we're rock hounds. So we go, to various places, and we will collect stones from where, the places that we go. Like, Wisconsin has something called Baraboo quartzite that's, only found here. Wisconsin also has its own moonstone, which I absolutely I love it. So every, year for Christmas or for my birthday, he ends up buying me some pretty rock, like some pretty rock. He brings it back to me, and just like a penguin. And so I know that's probably disgustingly cute. However, like, I've been told by friends of ours that if he and I were to ever separate or break up, that they would just not believe in true love anymore. Like, if you guys can't make it, then we're doomed, sort of deal. And I think it's because, like, he shares my very kind of dark and sick sense of humor. He loves me for my, faults and for my successes, and he supports me, through even this craziness with not working, and, dealing with all of my kind of emotional baggage, I guess, that I've had lately. And so I know I'm very lucky, very, very lucky. We had actually, and I think I don't remember if I've mentioned it on the other WIP and chat or not, but he and I actually had talked about starting a podcast called Couples Therapy, where basically we would just, sit and talk about kind of how how we've made our relationship work, kind of the rules of, you know, making a relationship work, and then just talking about life, talking about our lives together, and you know, how I remind him every day that I'll break his damn knees or whatever. Because, you know, if you really love somebody, you're going to tell them that you want to break their knees. But yeah, it's been very lucky to know and feel like I've found my partner, the person who kind of makes me make sense a little bit. And so I know that I'm fortunate. I know very, very well that I'm fortunate, because I know not everybody has that. I wish they did. You know, we've gone a lot of places in Wisconsin. We like to kind of go to all of the state parks and whatnot. And we went on a trip to Door County, which is like a touristy spot in Wisconsin. And so while we were there, we got into this really random discussion about I know why we got into the conversation, because I had brought along some of my mom's ashes to Rock Island, to leave some there, because, you know, I bring my mom's ashes with me whenever I'm going to go somewhere that's really beautiful, because, you know, it's a place that she didn't get to go, and I don't want to hang on to my mom's ashes forever. Like, what am I going to will those to my children when I die? Like, they don't want to, what are they going to do with, you know, my ashes, her ashes, you know, whatever. So my plan is to, you know, spread her around, whatever. And so we were having a conversation about kind of like the state of relationships now, and what it's like to try and date, and how that even works anymore. I wouldn't even know. Like, just people, you know, online, I wouldn't even know how to do it. And so we were talking about, you know, like, he and I have this like weird sort of almost soul connection with each other. And I was like, you know, it'd be so strange to, I don't even know that I would look, honestly, if I'm being honest. Who knows? But, you know, like, I was saying, like, what if I meet somebody and here I'm, you know, bringing along your ashes, because we've talked about, you know, how we each want to be cremated and whatever. And, you know, I'm like, I would be bringing along your ashes with me. And then, like, what if this guy makes some comment and he's like, oh, same. He's like, you know, what if I'm dating this woman and I've got your ashes and I'm about to, you know, leave you somewhere beautiful, and she's got some sort of problem with the fact that I'm, you know, spreading your ashes somewhere. I'd be like, well, I guess this relationship's over, and you're just gonna have to walk home from wherever we're at. I'm like, yeah, I don't know, man. I don't even know how people do it nowadays. Like, there's this YouTube channel. It's called The Cut, and I like watching they have like these blind date. It's like truth or drink, and so they have people do like blind dates, and they have to play truth or drink. And obviously you tell the truth when they ask a question, or you have to take a shot. And then there's another one that's called The Button on The Cut. It's a dating, kind of speed dating game show on The Cut called The Button. And, like, you know, is that what we have to resort to now for finding somebody to date? Because, like, how do people even do it now? I don't even know. A friend of ours is very recently divorced. He's you know, our age, and oops, sorry, I'm bumping things. He's our age, and, you know, honestly, I don't even know, like, how do people do it? He doesn't want to go to the bar, you know, because he he's dealing with some issues himself around alcohol, and so he's not trying to meet somebody at the bar. But like, where do people meet now? Like, sure, if you're religious, you could meet at church, or but is everything like Tinder or Grinder or whatever? Like, I don't even know. I wouldn't know what to do. I would be so lost. I would just give up. I'm like, well, guess my life is meant to be a spinster with some cats, and never to know the touch of another human again, I guess, because I wouldn't know the first thing. I would not know the first thing to do. So yeah, I know I'm lucky. And if anything ever happened, I guess I'm alone, you know? So if you're out there and you're single, like, what do you do? What do you do? How do you do it? I mean, not how do you be single? I honestly, I feel like there is some benefit to being single. Obviously, I am, um, you know, privileged enough to have a relationship to be able to say that, to have the, know the benefit of being alone. But, I think that I'm curious, just like, how do you do? How do you do? Do you like do the apps? Um do you just like try to meet somebody out and about? Like, do you do social things? Um cuz yeah, I don't even know. Like, I guess the difference between dating when, in the 90s and even in the early 2000s was like, people went places, people were social, you went out and did things. And I'm not saying that, you know, Gen Y or Gen Z, that, or the Zoomers, like, that you're not out doing anything, but a lot of what you do is tied up around technology. And so I know that's got to be its own little struggle. I don't think there's probably too many Zoomers that watch this channel, but if you do, hey, welcome. Hey, how you doing? But yeah, so tell me about that. So if I had not spilled my frickin' drills everywhere, I would probably be so much farther along in this piece. That was just crappy of me to do to myself. But it is a really just stunning piece. Normally a whip and chat is about an hour, which we're getting close. But I did want to talk about one other thing, and that is the importance of knowing yourself well, right? So I ran into an issue wherein I talked on the phone with my sister, and I think I've brought her up before, just that we're very different. She's kind of more, she's younger, for one. She's 11 years younger than I am, so there's going to be some differences there. But we were talking about kind of how she found success on TikTok, and how she has all of these subscribers and whatever, and well, this is how you do this and this is how you do that. It's like, but the things like that she was recommending were things that she would do, and not things that like I necessarily would do for my channel. And so I've always had this thing where I kind of, I don't know, I feel like I tell people that, oh no, I know how to do this, I know how to do that. And it's harder, of course, because my sister's younger. So when she gives me advice or whatever, it's like she's younger than me, so by a lot. And, you know, obviously she doesn't know best because she's younger than me and whatever. Um, that weird kind of dichotomy. But, I have this thing where people will tell me something and um, I will oftentimes try to do something just to please them. And, you know, even if I think like, but that it just doesn't, I don't know. So I'd done some recording of some stuff and it just felt like forced and fake. And I just don't think that those of you who have stuck around this long, even through this whip and chat, that you want me to be anything other than what you've been listening to for the last 55 minutes according to my timer, that you want me to be anything other than that. And so the one thing I was going to say is that throughout all of this journey that you are embarking on with me, because, this is the early days, and if things work out well, like I hope that they will, then we'll be on a journey for a while, and you'll get to know me, and hopefully through the comments, I'll get to know you, and you'll, find at least something I said worth paying attention to, but that I will always try to be authentically myself. I'm not going to try to be anybody else. And you have my promise. You have my promise on that I will always stay true to who I am. And I would like to think that whomever you are and wherever you are in the world, that whole imposter syndrome thing that I was talking about, people love you for who you are and not for who you're trying to be. That isn't to say, obviously, that you should not try to, be the best person that you can be. But don't try to be somebody else. That's not the person that people wanted you to be anyways. That's not who they asked you to be. They are interested in you and they want you to be who you are authentically. So don't feel like you need to be somebody else. I've been battling with that whole idea for the last month with this channel, with trying to find a job, with everything. It's like, okay, who do you want me to be? I'll be that. I'll be that so that I can just get ahead somehow, that I can get somewhere somehow. And then it made me realize that, the more authentically myself that I can be, that the more hopefully the people will want to join me on my journey. And I hope that, whatever you do, that you want to join me on my journey. And I hope that in all things that you are taking care of yourself, that you are loving yourself for who you are, and that you are giving yourself some grace because you deserve it. Give yourself some time and some patience because, we don't all start out at the top. And so it's something I needed to remind myself of today. So I'm reminding you of that too. We all got to start somewhere, and the best place for you to start is with being yourself. Because if nobody else cares about you, I care about you. And with that, I really, really, really appreciate you sticking around. If you've made it this far, leave a little dragon symbol in the comments if you made it all the way this far. That said, thank you so much for sticking around. I hope that it is a beautiful morning, evening, afternoon, wherever you are in this great big beautiful world, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.